Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's Stuart here, middle-aged runner, 61 years old. I've got some exciting news. I broke my personal best. I'll tell you about that, but first of all, let me just tell you that this time last week, I had no idea that I would even be running, let alone smashing my personal best by 1.5 minutes over 5K, because I felt that I had a cold coming on, and I had a difficult decision because I don't like taking time off running. So I decided to run despite having a cold. It was a head cold, so it wasn't really too bad, but I could feel the telltale signs, and I wondered whether it would develop into something more serious like the flu. I didn't have any of the shivers, anything like that, but yeah, I definitely didn't feel right. However, I decided to run anyway. Now, I ran last week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I decided to rest Thursday and Friday and then do the park run. So I live in Scotland, but I came down to Nottingham and I ran at Wollaton Park in Nottingham. I've got family in Nottingham who I was visiting. So yeah, I ran Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3 days in a row, and I ran in zone three. So my best time is about 28 minutes for 5K. So I was running at around about sort of 29-minute 5K pace in my training runs, three runs, three in a row, while I was not really feeling that well. But actually, the training runs didn't feel that bad. They felt actually okay, and I would definitely run with a cold as long as it wasn't in my chest. And I've read that if it's below the neck down, you shouldn't really run when you've got a cold, but if it's from the neck up, bit of a sniffle, a bit of a stuffy feeling in the head, it's okay. And I felt absolutely fine. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I rested Thursday and Friday. Now, when I woke up on Saturday morning, I was actually feeling a lot better. So I decided to go and run the 5K at Wollaton Park, and it was an amazing experience. I haven't run in a field this big before. There were 480 runners. It was a fabulous course. I really love the course because unlike a lot of park runs, you don't run 2 laps, 3 laps. No, it's a huge park, and you run up the hill past the house on the left. And let me see, where do you go? And then, yeah, you go the side of the house, then you go down the hill. There's a path with a line of trees. The golf course is on the left, and then you run around the lake. And then what do you do? You run up, yeah, you run around the lake, and then you run along the length of the lake back in the direction that you came from. You then double back on yourself and run back up that hill that you came down where the trees are lined up towards the ornamental gardens. And then you take a left along the concrete path, which takes you past the building which has got the cafe in it on the left and all of the industrial museum and everything, with Wollaton Hall on your right. There's an uphill drag there. That was the actual hardest part of the run for me, and quite a few people went past me there. I decided not to really attack that hill, but just to get up it. And once I was actually over that hill, I went into overdrive. A lot of people who'd attacked the hill, I went flying past them. They were struggling. I was glad that I did that. And then you then run past the house and then take a left, and it's all downhill from there. I went past several people in the last 200 or 300 meters. Nobody passed me in the last few hundred meters because I was kind of running more or less flat out to get the best possible time. And I got through the finish in an amazing, for me, 26 minutes 25 seconds. I was absolutely, I just couldn't believe that I'd run and knocked 1.5 minutes off my best time. I mean, I just, it was just absolutely unbelievable. I felt like the big difference on this run, and maybe I felt like I could go past people. I felt like I could push faster than I have done before, and I felt like with the breathing that I was doing that the oxygen was actually getting to where it's supposed to go. Whereas in the past, when I hadn't trained so much, you're breathing faster, but the oxygen isn't really getting there. This time I really felt like it was getting to all the muscles, and I wasn't really struggling. I could have maybe gone even faster, although maybe not. But you know, 26 minutes 25 seconds is just I'm really absolutely delighted with it. In fact, on my Garmin watch, because I stopped my watch exactly as I went through the line. It also stopped on 26:25, despite the fact that I started behind the people at the front, and it took me maybe 10 seconds to get through the start line, and then I started it as I went through the start line, I started my watch, and then I was having to fight my way through because I started maybe halfway down the field, but I ended up in the third top. So I came 160 out of 480 runners. So I ended up in the top third, whereas I started about halfway, and it turned out I had a lot of people to get past. I was patient. I eventually got past them without running my first mile too slow. I think I was through my first mile in about 8 minutes 45 or something like that. My fastest mile in this run was 7:50, which is the fastest mile I've run so far. My fastest kilometer was 4 minutes 50, which again is my fastest kilometer so far. So yeah, the time that I got for 5K from my Garmin was actually 26 minutes and 1 second, because it got me at doing 5.1K on this course. But I took the 26 minutes 25 seconds as my best time for 5K, because I don't know how my Garmin, I mean, maybe my Garmin was slightly off, gave me more distance than I really ran, although it doesn't usually. But anyway, that's how it ended up, 26:25. And yeah, what can I say? I think my conclusion is, yeah, if you've got a cold, if it's not too bad, run through it. That's okay. And maybe don't run quite as hard as you normally do. And I had a 2-day rest, which really helped. I found actually that a 2-day rest before the park run is actually really beneficial. And some of my best times have come from running with a 2-day rest before the actual race. It really worked out well for me. And what really pleased me is the number of people I was going past, young men in their 20s, students from Nottingham University. I was flying past them going, I was really delighted in the first third of the race. I was overhauling so many of them. I felt like turning and saying, "You're not training. I'm 61 years old. If you were training like I do, you'll be way ahead of me." But in reality, how do I train? I do less than 20 miles a week. I'm on light training, but high quality training, zone 3 training. None of this zone 2 training, taking it easy. And I'm running Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or really Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, rest on a Friday, and then run on a Saturday. That's my training routine. 4 times 4 mile runs, and then a 3.1 mile run on a Saturday. That's my training. I don't train any other than that. No interval training, nothing. And while I keep improving, I'll keep doing that. 26 minutes 25. Let's see whether I can hit my target of 25 minutes by the end of the year. And then next year, let's see if I can get down to 20 minutes by the end of next year. Who knows? The sky's the limit. Don't put any limits on yourself. I'm certainly not. And there's no telling how fast I can be. I will just keep trying. And that's about it, really. So thank you very much for tuning in. And I'll be back again. I've been out for a training run today, by the way. I didn't run Sunday and Monday. I've run today, Tuesday, and I've gone out and run 4 miles, and I've averaged 8 minutes 45 a mile, which, yeah, is like zone 3 running for me. So I'm keeping it high quality and less mileage. It's working for me. And if you're not interested in running half marathons or marathons, maybe just higher quality but less running is the way to go. Okay. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now.